Wilson Rouse from Black Film and TV. Hello, Mr. Whitaker.
Hi, good to see you.
Hey, obviously, you're not new to doing Christmas movies, so this is something totally new, totally fresh, totally different. What went into saying yes?
Well, I mean, David Talbot is like I think a great person, a great filmmaker, and I'd wanted to look for something to do together with him, and he had this idea. I mean, this story about this eccentric inventor who gets all of his things stolen and loses his belief in life and himself, and is awakened by his granddaughter and starts to believe in life again, himself again, and love again, and his family again. And that was like that's a thematic I thought was really great to explore, and it was going to be done like with people of color and which allowed us to see them in like this really heightened way. And then it was musical, and I was asked if I could sing, and I was like, all right, let's give this one out. This is a push me. This will push me to the edge.
There's a lot in this movie that people can take away and be in love with, from the production design, the costumes, the music, the acting, the storytelling, you know. Taking me back to your character, let's see if I'm saying it right, Jeronicus?
It's Jeronicus Jangle.
Jeronicus Jangle, how, how would you best describe him? Like, is he a storyteller who's lost his wits? Obviously, we know what happens, but what more can you say about him?
He's a brilliant inventor who has designed. When we meet him, we meet him. He's designed this toy that's gonna like revolutionize things, and it's stolen from him by his apprentice. And from that point, he starts to fall and just go downhill till he loses everything, even his family, his wife, his daughter leaves him. And we meet him there at that point when his granddaughter comes into his life, when he's lost everything, and she tries to get him to believe in life again, to believe in himself again, believe in magic again. So he kind of represents that thing that when we feel like we've fallen down, that thing that like we can look to try to get ourselves up and know that tomorrow will be better. And so Jeronicus does that.
There's a lot in here. Obviously, with your performance, you're working opposite a number of good actors, specifically Madalen. She carries the weight along with you. Can you talk about working with her? And, this is the first time we're seeing her on screen, and she was just a delight.
Madalen is, I think, amazing. She, when I see her, when she walks in the room, she lights it up. She's got that kind of rock star quality that makes you gravitate to look at her. You know what I mean? And as an artist, I think she's gonna be one of those classic actresses that's gonna go forever. Like would have been like from the Judy Garlands or those from the past to where she would go to today. She's she's not only talented, but she's kind of authentically centered. Like she knows she can still do her work and do it intensely, and then go off and play and stuff, and then come back into the scene and bring something new inside of it. It's pretty extraordinary, I think, who she is and what she is.
You know, when you look at your physical appearance, I'm like, oh, Forrest is challenging Samuel Jackson as far as how many hairstyles can he have in different projects. you know, I was
Uh,
like, look at that haircut. I'm like, okay, was that his call? Was that the production designer's call? Talking about the
David.
hairstyle and David's that hairstyle and the costume. Obviously, you wore some fantastic outfits.
Um, me and David, we were looking at like Freud, Sigmund Freud, this mad scientist. I mean, a scientist, and Frederick Douglass, and kind of blended something together that like was Jeronicus Jangle, And I think David and Lynn and all of them were like looking at in the clothing and stuff, um, at trying to do this thing, this sort of Afro-Victorian style, or bringing in African fabrics and things of that nature into like a classic Victorian style, and to create this new world and universe that we would exist in, that was like all encompassing and allowed the cultures to exist side by side. So it was he did in so many different areas that they did that in, that the music, some of the African music that was played, some of the new sort of almost Disney-like stuff that was played in the Bruno Mars style, John Legend style. It was all like just embracing the different things coming together as one.
Like you mentioned in the music, you got to sing, you got to dance. What was that feel like? We don't see you that often doing this. I was like, oh, you got Forrest singing in here? Like, did you take your lessons? Did you practice? Was that lip singing?
No, no. I mean, actually, I'm the only person I guess who got to sing their songs live. I got to sing my song live on set, and when I sing over and over again after my family leaves, and it's kind of a very sad scene. And we were just rehearsing it, and then David realized that we could just continue forward when we were shooting stuff, and let me continue to sing. So um, I started actually in music. I started actually in music. The first plays I did were musicals in high school, and I left music behind. I had a music scholarship at USC Conservatory for voice, and I kind of left all that behind and just started acting. And this came along, and it's a great opportunity. I've only sang, I think I sang one other time with Jennifer Hudson in this movie called Black Nativity, where we sang the song "Be Grateful" together. And then there's this, and I sing 4 songs, and it's pretty exciting.
You know, there's a lot of Christmas movies that come out around this time, and especially now, there's a lot of platforms, cable, VOD. What do you think sets Jingle Jangle apart? Is there a message behind this, or is just this another different Christmas story?
I think it's a classic film, Christmas story. Really, it's well, one. I think the messages they are really right on point as far as like refining yourself, getting yourself through the difficulties and stuff that we're experiencing right now in our lives, kind of with the COVID, pandemic and stuff, and being isolated and afraid and stuff, and then some people feeling like they can't go on with their lives and stuff, but then a spark happening, hopefully, to give people hope. I think this movie like lives in that hope and joy spot that makes it a very special film. And another thing I want to say is that it's really expansive. It's not only is it these beautiful sets and stuff. There's these amazing costumes. There's this amazing music. Then it's like breaks into dance, breaks into song. It's its own universe, and I think that people will find it to be quite special from anything they've seen before.
Growing up, were you someone that was read stories? Did you read stories to your own kids? Is this something that you'd like to tell stories to? Because this is going to get people to tell stories again, whether they're real or not.
I love the way it starts off with Felicia, like when she's reading the book, and I guess in Christmas time there was tonight before Christmas, that I used to read to my kids and stuff, and on the night before Christmas and stuff, and I guess that was a tradition, a family tradition that we would do, and something we'd share together.
You've got this coming up. You've got another film coming out next year with Jennifer, as you mentioned. With the projects you've done so far, what makes you say yes to these projects? You're in high demand, whether you're behind the scenes as a producer or in front of it. What makes you say yes to the projects you take on?
Usually, like that, I know I'm going to continue to grow, and maybe I can offer something to expose the character more to people to understand more deeply. And then I just go by my instincts and my guts, and that's how I choose my next step.
Mhm. You mentioned working with Jennifer, and obviously this is the second time you're going to be working with her. Actually, no, the third time. Am I correct? Didn't you guys do Winged Creatures?
Yeah, this is the third time I played her dad, actually.
So yeah, this is how good I am. It's like Winged Creatures. I remember that one.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll talk again down that road. But when you're working with Jennifer 3 times, do you see the growth in her as an actress? Because obviously you've worked with her 3 different times.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's amazing in respect. She did such amazing work. It's such complicated work. Like not only plays Aretha and has to play her and bring her to life, not just the scene, but also the emotional palette, like the addictions and problems that she was struggling with as she was going through to become the Queen of Soul that she became. It's just unique because most of the other movies that we did together, we'd have like one scene, like in Black Nativity, we had the scene where she came in my church, and we sang "Be Grateful" together, and we reconciled. With this one, in Respect, we actually I support her in the film, and we do a number of scenes where when she's a child and she's 9 years old and she starts to sing for the first time in the church, and then 11 when she goes with me on the road in our tours around the country and stuff, and like this sort of Svengali, like very close father-daughter relationship that ends up having to break for a moment because because of her desire to like find her own way and find her own voice, and then the reconciliation that happens at the end, in Amazing Grace. So um, it was a special time, a special opportunity to work with Jennifer. I think she did a great job, and she's going to be really well received.
And going back to Jingle Jangle, and you've worked with other directors, but and you've worked a long time. But when you're working with David, is there something within his direction that you picked up that you probably hadn't seen from other directors that you can take on to your next project as an actor or somebody behind the scenes, because you're watching somebody else guide you to do certain things, even though you've been working a long time?
I think there's like a joy about doing the work, fun that David brings into it. He's like really raw and emotional about it. He'll be describing the scene or seeing a new set, and it'll bring him to tears, and his enthusiasm and excitement and emotions like fuels the crew, and they're all included. They're all like feel like they're a part of it. He has a way of making them all feel like they're a big part of it, that they're sharing in it, and you can feel it. And I think that's something that I would like to be able to do with the crews I work with as a filmmaker, to infuse that kind of camaraderie and friendship and working for the same goals.
Mm. Now, when you're working behind the scenes as a producer, is it challenging not to get in front of the camera, as opposed to like they want you to come on board as a producer to help that film or project get off its feet?
Um, Most of the things that, especially I've produced lately, I'm not in at all. Like even starting from Fruitvale Station to Dope to Sorry to Bother You to, you know, all of our projects that we've done now. We just finished one called Passing. I'm not in them at all. I'm just on the production side, producing, giving my thoughts about editing and things of that nature, and script and casting and stuff. And I'm just trying to support these new artists and these new voices that are coming up that have a lot to say. Um, um, Songs My Brother Taught Me, which we also produced, which is a really interesting film, and just so many different projects that we've done. And I'm just there to support.
Is Pastor coming out within the next few months, or is that we don't know yet?
Which one?
Passing,
Asser?
passing, passing. Was that what you mentioned? Passing, Rebecca's film.
Are you talking about Passing?
Yes.
Rebecca Hall's movie, yeah, with Tessa and um,
Oof.
Ruth Nega. Yeah, it's a really powerful and special movie. Yeah, just supporting them as best I can and what they're doing. I think they did great work, and it's a unique movie because it's dealing with an old classic of a book, and deals with someone who's passing for white in this period in time, and what that does to her relationships and how it affects her personally. It's a special movie, and I think you're gonna find it to be really interesting. It's also shot in black and white, which is quite unique.
Oh, that's interesting. But first, we got to get through Jingle Jangle, Christmas Journey. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be tuning in, judging by the response I see on social media. You don't need a new fan base, but you're going to get a new fan base. So keep doing your thing. We're going to talk down the road. Obviously, you got respect, so you're always working, which is good for me because it gives me work. So I will talk to you later, Mr. Forrest.
All right, it's good to see you.